G'day! In today's video, I'm going to be doing a system build in the Fantech Aero CG80 pink case. Why pink? Why not? Well, you can see on the top here, we have two USB 2s, one USB 3, 1, 2, 3 RGB fans on the front, pink on the side. Does look to be a slightly different shade compared to the plastic. We have a white mesh on the top here. And we have one fan at the rear. Bingo. Same fans at the front. I'll find out how they're connected up. During the build, I'll just be taking you along the way and I'll point out various things that may be of interest or any dramas that I have. To begin with, let's take these thumb screws out, which they're untwisting fairly easily. Reasonable length. Whoop. So I'll get this side panel off and see how we go from there. Regarding the tempered glass, there is a cover on the inside and on the outside. Do have these that push on. Just be careful not to accidentally pull them off when you take the glass off. Sometimes they stay in the glass. What we have here, we have one installation guide, screws and tools. I'm curious what the tools are. Have a look. Nope. So these are fixed Molex. We have the good old daisy chain going on here. So I'm assuming they light up rainbow. Well, we're going to find out anyway what they light up, but that they are not ARGB. What else do we have? We have one disc tray. We have two. I'm assuming the tools are the speaker and a couple of, we've got there, about 4 or 5 cable ties. These speakers are definitely worthwhile using, especially on an AM5 build, to know what the machine's actually up to. What else have we got here? We have USB, front panel audio, and what have we got regarding front I/O? LED, power switch, reset. I'm not sure what this LED one here is. That may... No, we do have a dedicated LED button. We'll figure that out along the way. So looking in the manual regarding the fans, not seeing too much. Does reckon SSD for storage. 1, 2, removable, screwable. Here we go, LED switch for fan. Odd, but I'll check that out. LED switch can be used with a new device, fan controller with LED control. So basically that button's probably non-existent right now, especially with these style of fans. Let's check it out. Get this folded over. I'm curious if the I/O shield will still, the back plate will still be there once the motherboard's installed, if you ever need to access it. Do like how these are folded over, a couple of different spots to cable tie. These are good because you don't slice your finger open. They used to just cut it out, but I do like it how they're folded. Now I'll proceed with a power supply. We do have a couple of little rubber feet here for it to sit on, and a little dust filter down the bottom here. Let's get a power supply in. So I've just used a budget Silverstone, where are we? Strider 650. So basically the idea behind this machine is something that you can play right now. It's going to have a Ryzen 5 7600, but enough juice to add a graphics card down the line. So that's why I've got something a little bit more powerful than just a budget 450 or 500 watt power supply. And now I'll proceed and get a motherboard in here. Now the I/O shield installation was very straightforward, pushed in with minimal fuss, so I don't see that's going to be too much of a drama. I've got the system assembled now. One thing I didn't notice was the Prime B650MA, 1, 2, 3, 4. It uses 16 times slots, even though probably 1 times 1 times 1 times 16. Slightly odd. I'm not sure why they've done that particular layout on here. I haven't seen that in years. Like we still got two NVMe slots here and here. Very odd. Let's get this board in. Now I did find the lack of thumb screws to be slightly annoying. I know as I say that, there is a third one here. They threaded in just fine using the correct tool for that. I was able to go finger tight and they went in just fine. Moving the ones from here, the tool was needed to move them. They were a bit beyond finger tight down here. Now I'll get a board in. Before I get it in there, the 8-pin power should be able to be routed through this gap just here. So I wouldn't have to run it under here and then back around. So I'll get that in there now, or at least the board in there now. So one board in, audio, USB audio, USB 2, we have USB 3, front connectors all connected up except the LED button because I've got nowhere for that to connect up to. I had the 8-pin go up just through here, perfectly fine. I didn't have to split it to make it go through the gaps, so plenty of room there. Got the 24 over here, which fitted through here. That's perfectly fine. Got these cables over here. They're fine. The biggest dilemma I foresee though, is if you have a 240mm AIO at the top here, there's very little clearance between the RAM and the fan, and this other fan over here. So I suspect that having a cooler, you will have to go to the front to be able to fit a 240mm. You might be able to get away with a 180 up the top there, but it doesn't look to be a huge amount of room up there. So that is rather disappointing, especially when we have so much room under the board. We have power supply in there, getting showed off. The fans there. If we switch it around to the back, I can just route them to slightly different spots. I've got our daisy chain connected up over here. That's just kind of hanging there, whatever. Most of this you can't really see. That cable there goes back. This one I do want to just tighten up a bit over here. 8 up there, back plate we can't access. Regarding the wireless card that's on there, that's interesting. But the back plate itself cannot be accessed, so if you have an AM4 processor and you do change the board, or do take off the cooler, expect the back plate to fall down. It doesn't happen on AM5s. Just got the rest of the jank cables put in there, and we'll put them back in. We'll get the side panel on in a minute, and we'll turn this on and see how we look. Nearly at the end here. Side panel slid on just fine. Plenty of space between the back plate and the side panel, about 1 inch. So plenty of room to fit cables to be routed in. There was no real dramas whatsoever. Made it up just fine. Also, if you are putting in a graphics card, this one won't be at this time. What have we got? Wow, that is ridiculously tightened. Don't know who was having their wheat bix at the assembly line that day, but we will have to bust out the shields. So these push up and spin up. Be careful not to hit the motherboard. If you've already installed the board, then you've got to take these out, or else you may scrape the board and damage it, which is what you certainly don't want to do. On here I can get away with just this one, or this one, and then this one will fold out and snap off. Just keep folding it back and forth until it breaks off. Do have one little removable cover which lines up the top here with this one. Now from here, let's turn it on. There we go. System. Yes, have a complain. No video connected. The fans themselves actually, the appearance of them does look better than I thought they were going to. The RGB effect is quite fine. They illuminate very well. On the front here, looking fine. Looking fine. We do have a fairly large space of nothing along here, so a smaller case could have possibly been okay. But this is just a budget case, so we do have compromises. But if a decent graphics card's put in here, possibly like an LED strip along here, it would fill in that space reasonably well. It gives you room to customize and modify. Now we'll get the glass panel on there. The screws have a little bit of plastic on them so you don't damage the glass when you screw them in. They go in there just fine. The I think they're the same razors as on the motherboard. Or razors, however you want to call it. I have peeled off the plastic on the inside of that tempered glass. And we'll disconnect the lights in just a moment. The one by lights, I mean that light, not those lights. And we'll have a bit of a full look at this one. That might be handy to put back. Just to slide over. Go. There we go. And disconnect the light. Do have some natural light still shining behind me. Does illuminate a reasonable amount in there, if you ignore my shadow. Looking at it from the rear. Not bad. Just a simple glass case. So, anyway, hope that answers most of the questions I had regarding this. Regarding the LED button on the top, that one is still disconnected. If you have an aftermarket RGB controller in there, it may have an LED out button, which is what you would connect that to. But this machine does not have such a thing, so I'll leave that as it is. Anyway, that was a build in the Fantech Aero CG80. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.